Millions of years ago, huge reptiles called dinosaurs roamed the earth. The name dinosaur means terrible lizard. Dinosaurs appeared some 220 million years ago and roamed the earth until about 65 million years ago. We know they were here because their bones have been found on every continent. Each dot indicates the location where fossils have been found. Let's take a look at the history of life on Earth. Life began in the ocean about 3.35 billion years ago. After the fish, the amphibians appeared. Reptiles, including the dinosaurs, came next. Mammals appeared later. And birds appeared last. Humans have been on Earth for only about 1 million years. Some dinosaurs were enormous and grew as tall as houses. They could be as long as 15 elephants and weigh as much as 12 automobiles. Brontosaurus was one of the largest dinosaurs. When he walked, his footsteps must have sounded like thunder. In fact, his name means thunder lizard. Like most reptiles, Brontosaurus reproduced by laying eggs. He was a harmless animal. He only ate plants. Not all dinosaurs were big. Some were no bigger than chickens. Coelophysis was a flesh eater about 8 feet long. The plant-eating dinosaurs protected themselves in different ways. Stegosaurus had bony plates on his back and spikes on his tail. His name means plated lizard. Anatosaurus, the duck lizard, escaped into the water in times of danger. He had webbed feet to help him swim. His jaws contained hundreds of tightly packed teeth for crushing tough plants. Other duck-billed dinosaurs had odd-looking crests decorating their heads. The flying reptiles seen in the background are pteranodons. Pteranodons are reptiles, but not related to the dinosaurs. The Ankylosaurus was a living tank. Ankylosaurus means stiffened lizard. His back was tough armor. Despite their protective armors, not many dinosaurs could escape the sharp teeth of Tyrannosaurus rex. His name means king tyrant lizard, and he was a ferocious beast. Tyrannosaurus grew to be 50 feet long and 18 feet tall. The horned-faced dinosaurs didn't fear Tyrannosaurus rex because they had horns to defend themselves. Triceratops was the largest of this group. Triceratops means three-horned face. Monoclonius had only one horn. His name means single-stem lizard. The horned-faced dinosaurs were plant eaters. All of them had horny beaks and frills or spikes on the back of their heads. Styracosaurus did not hesitate to fight Tyrannosaurus rex when necessary. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for 140 million years. As centuries passed, some dinosaurs died, while others continued to survive. 65 million years ago, the last of the dinosaurs disappeared. At that time, changes occurred in the climate, affecting the dominant types of vegetation. The dinosaurs could not retreat to a warmer climate as the northern and southern land masses were separated by tropical seas. Today, the bones of dinosaurs may be seen in many museums, where they give us a window into the geological past.
Millions of years ago, long before the first men walked the earth, giant reptiles called dinosaurs ruled our world. About 65 million years ago, the last dinosaurs died out. A world catastrophe may have killed them, but no one knows for sure what happened. Whatever the reason, the disappearance of the dinosaurs marked the end of an era in the Earth's history and the beginning of a new one, the Cenozoic era, the age of mammals. What are mammals? Unlike fish and modern reptiles, which are cold-blooded, mammals are warm-blooded. This enables them to adapt better to changes in temperature and environment. Birds, most reptiles, and fish lay eggs. While most mammals give birth to their young live and suckle them with milk. Usually, mammals have hair or fur to protect them and keep them warm. Earth is approximately 5.5 billion years old. Animal life first appeared over 3 billion years ago. Fish began here, then came the amphibians and reptiles. The age of reptiles began about 230 million years ago and ended about 65 million years ago, which was the beginning of the Cenozoic era, the age of mammals. The first primitive mammals appeared during the age of reptiles. Small mammals such as this Deltatherium, seen here eating a dinosaur egg, resembled the opossums and shrews of today. This Eohippus was the ancestor of our modern horse, but was only the size of a small dog. He originated in North America 55 million years ago. Unlike the modern horse, which has hooves, Eohippus had claws. During the next 55 million years, he evolved, gradually growing larger and losing his extra toes. The middle toe grew longer, and the toenail became a hoof. Almost 2 million years ago, the modern horse called Equus appeared. He traveled by land bridge through Alaska to Asia. In time, he died out in North America. But thousands of years later, he was brought back to America by European explorers. Like the horse, all animals which are alive today are related to animals which lived long ago. Early mammals were generally small and were preyed upon by larger animals, such as the flesh-eating bird, Diatryma, which grew nearly 9 feet tall. A few mammals grew to enormous proportions. Of all the mammals that ever lived on land, the Beleucotherium was the largest, standing twice as tall as any modern elephant. Although it had no horn, the Beleucotherium was actually a species of rhinoceros. One of the strangest looking primitive mammals was the Platybelodon, an ancient relative of the elephant. His lower tusks and long, curved jaw formed a shovel-like mouth which he used to scoop up his food. The Glyptodon was a giant armored mammal related to the modern-day armadillo. From head to tail, he measured close to 12 feet in length. The Megatherium was a giant ground sloth. He was a slow, awkward animal. Although he usually walked on all 4 legs, the Megatherium was able to rear up on his hind legs to reach tree leaves, using his claws to pull down branches.
One of the fiercest prehistoric mammals was the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon. Armed with large, curved teeth and sharp claws, he could kill animals twice his size. Even though this Smilodon is hungry, he's not foolish enough to attack the armored Glyptodon. Instead, he decides to look for easier prey.
About 2 million years ago, the world's climate began to change and grow colder. Great fields of ice called glaciers covered many parts of the Earth near the poles. While some areas stayed warm, others grew very cold. This period was the beginning of the Ice Age. Many of the mammals could not adapt to the new climate and became extinct. Others, such as this woolly mammoth, developed thick, hairy coats to protect them from the cold. Preserved remains of mammoths have been found in the permanently frozen ground of Siberia and Alaska. One mammal was different from all the others: man. Although his body was small and weak, his brain was large. Man's intelligence gave him a means to survive. When it became too cold, he made clothes to keep himself warm. He made weapons to protect himself, and also tools which he used in many ways. Man soon ruled the earth. From humble beginnings, mammals developed to become masters of the earth. Some forms of mammals died out and became extinct. Others are still alive today. Man has existed only a few million years, a very short period in the history of Earth. With his superior intelligence, man is the first and only mammal with the ability to change the world around him. Will man survive? The choice is ours.
Fossil dinosaurs. The best known of the fossil reptiles are the dinosaurs, whose name means terrible lizard. There were two groups of these: Saurischia, with reptile-like hip bones, and Ornithischia, with bird-like hip bones. The reptile-like Saurischian hip bones are seen in this dinosaur. The bird-like Ornithischian hip bones may be seen in this dinosaur. The best known of the Saurischian dinosaurs was the plant-eater Brontosaurus, the thunder lizard. Brontosaurus was almost 80 feet long and weighed 40 tons. One group of Saurischians were the large flesh-eating dinosaurs. One was Allosaurus. Notice the strong teeth used for tearing flesh. Allosaurus was 35 feet long and stood on his hind feet. The foot of Allosaurus was over 2 feet wide. It was padded like that of an elephant and had strong claws. Tyrannosaurus was the largest of the flesh-eaters. This is the skeleton of Tyrannosaurus. This bird-like dinosaur lived later and fed on a diet of fruits, green plants, and small animals. The bird-hipped Ornithischians developed into many different kinds of dinosaurs. Many became quite large and all fed on plants. The duck-bill water-loving dinosaurs became numerous and appeared in many forms. Trachodon is a good example. This is the skeleton of another duckbill. This head of another duckbill shows how unusual these animals became. Stegosaurus is the best known of the armored dinosaurs. The skeleton shows the armor was bone, covered by skin. This dinosaur had an armor that completely covered its body. Protoceratops was one of the earliest of the horned dinosaurs. It grew to 5 or 6 feet long. Protoceratop eggs were the first eggs to be found. They were found in Mongolia. Triceratops is the largest and best known of the horned dinosaurs. This is the skeleton of a Triceratops. This is the skull of another giant ceratopsian, Styracosaurus. The first dinosaurs were very small. Dinosaurs varied in size from 1 foot to 90 feet, but many were large. Many dinosaurs traveled on their hind legs. Even the dinosaurs who walked on 4 feet had short front legs. Dinosaurs which spent most of their time in the water were usually inactive and sluggish. Land forms were much more active and could travel rapidly. Many dinosaurs had a strong armor for defense. Others protected themselves by using their strong teeth. Bony horns were a protection for others. Some used large, sharp claws to attack enemies. The large size was always an excellent protection. In spite of their excellent protection, dinosaurs could not survive extreme weather conditions. The small mammals probably ate dinosaur eggs. Slowly, the giants of the past died out. Mammals, dinosaurs. The ancient reptiles disappeared from the earth because they could not live when the weather began changing to extremes of heat and cold. Mammals were able to live under many difficult conditions. The earliest mammals looked like the small modern animals called shrews. Most of the mammals lived during the Cenozoic era. Over a period of a few million years, the mammals began to grow larger, more numerous, and show some of the differences we see today. The earliest elephants lived 50 million years ago. They had short legs and no trunk. This one shown above is compared to a modern dog. The last of the fossil elephants in North America reached 14 feet in height. The mammoth from the Los Angeles La Brea asphalt pits was one of these large elephants. The first of the hoofed animals lived 70 million years ago. The horse Eohippus lived 50 million years ago. It was about 12 inches high. This skeleton of Eohippus shows the 3 and 4 toes on the feet. Brontotherium was another common hoofed animal. It became as large as a modern hippopotamus and then gradually became extinct. The skull shows the bony base of the horns. Baluchitherium, another hoofed animal, became the largest land mammal which has ever lived. He was 18 feet high at his shoulder. A peculiar deer-like animal was typical of many animals during the middle of the Cenozoic age. The early camels were as big as a medium-sized dog. Later, they developed into gigantic giraffe-like camels. The La Brea camel, found in the Los Angeles asphalt pits, was humpless. Giant pigs grew to a height of 6 feet before they became extinct. Hoofed oreodonts, numerous in ancient times, also became extinct. They grew to the size of wild pigs. This skeleton of an oreodont is only 1.5 feet long. Pouched animals like the opossum are now found mostly in Australia. This is an ancient relative. An interesting relative of the armadillo was the giant armored glyptodont, which grew to 6 feet in height. A close relative was the ground sloth, which often rose on its hind feet to reach plant food. The modern living sloth now lives in trees, hanging by strong claws, as did the first sloths. These feet would not allow the ground sloth to move fast. Flesh-eating animals, called carnivores, are never found in large numbers because they would soon run out of food. There are fewer fossil carnivores found because of this. One of the first cats lived in the beginning of the Cenozoic era. 2 kinds of cats developed from the early form. One was the stabbing cat, or saber-tooth, which became extinct. This skull from the La Brea pits shows the long, stabbing teeth. The other cat, which still lives today, was the biting cat. A large one was found in the La Brea pits. The fossil civet dog looked much like modern dogs. Some fossil bears had short noses. This is the head of the short-faced bear from La Brea pits. The first primates were tarsiers and lemurs, distant relatives of monkeys and apes. These lived in North America 50 million years ago. The last primate, man, probably appeared about 2 million years ago. As population of man has increased, the number of large mammals has decreased. Many things have caused the mammals to decrease, and undoubtedly, man has destroyed many. Early mammals were small, simple animals which appeared in the late Mesozoic era. During the Cenozoic era, the mammals increased in size, number, and kind.